Good morning, everybody. My name is Tawanda Dofat, and I am the president and CEO of Majestic Millionaires Travel Agency. It's about 6:30 in the morning here in the East. I am in Upper Marlboro, Maryland. So, good morning. If you're watching this on a replay later on today, wherever you are, good afternoon or good evening. I wanted to share this message with everyone because I have been silent for 7 days now. And I have been worried, I have been stressed, I have been like putting motion to motion and motion and just doing the most right now because my number one job is to make sure all of my customers are safe when we leave. They say they are safe until we return. And it is my responsibility as the owner of Majestic Millionaires Travel Agency to make sure you travel safely and that you return safely. And if something happens on the trip, while I'm there, or even if I'm not on the trip, I am going to make sure I do everything I can to make sure we remedy the situation. But I've been silent because, first and foremost, I wanted to make sure it was okay from my clients to share this story. I'm not going to share their names or anything, but I hope this message is going to help someone. And it's not just my company. I have received several calls in the last 3 days that someone is stuck in Mexico, someone is quarantined in Jamaica that didn't even book with me. And I'm trying to help, but when you don't book with me, there's kind of not too much I can do for you, but give you advice, and I can't intervene on your behalf. You would have to call whoever you booked with. And if you booked with by yourself online, you're basically on your own. But I wanted to share with you that two of my passengers were left behind in Abu Dhabi. It has been bothering me ever since we got back. I haven't been able to sleep. Of course, I have to still run the business. I have to still go on with my day-to-day life. But it's very difficult to sleep when you have left two people behind. Both of them tested positive for coronavirus. They both got sick a day into the travel. So I'm not sure if they contracted it before they left or if they got it the first day when we got there. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, but I do try to tell everyone, and I want you guys to listen and hear me clearly. If you are going to continue to travel, a week or two before you travel, you must cut off all contact. You must keep Bebe, the kids, Johnny, your if your boyfriend or your husband's not going, you have to separate and isolate from people. Because Joe Biden and the administration has implemented a new rule where you have to test negative 24 hours before you return back to the US. That is not leaving you any time to recover. I don't want to scare you, but I definitely have to be honest, and I have to be transparent, and I have to put this information out there. With that new rule, being tested 24 hours before you return if you are in another country will mess you up if you are not tested before you leave, even though you're not required to test before you leave unless that country requires that. You should make sure you start quarantining from people if you're going to be still traveling in this arena at this present time. You got to stay away from people. You got to not go out for dinner. You got to not be near large crowds, because even though you don't have symptoms sometimes, you still may test positive for the coronavirus. And I always talk about travel insurance, and we're going to get back to my two passengers. But the most critical part about this video, this live right now, is travel insurance. Most people think that I am in the business to sell travel insurance because I talk about it so much. I send all of my customers 1, 2, sometimes 3 messages to please purchase travel insurance. And another thing, people think travel insurance is just to get a refund if you cannot go on your trip. Travel insurance is so much more. Travel insurance will take care of you if you get sick on the trip, if you need to be medevac, because we've had that situation before, if you need to quarantine. We have something that's called bed rest, and it was only $13 to be added to the policy. All of us had insurance, and I made sure all of the customers that went to Abu Dhabi and Dubai had the bed rest. So we're covered there. So, and it's going to cover, say if you get quarantined and you have to pay for a facility, you want to be reimbursed. If you have to buy a new flight coming home, you want to be reimbursed. If you have a taxi ride and all the transfers that you paid for originally in the group are gone because we have come home, you want to be reimbursed. Travel insurance is so much more than just a refund. If your bags get lost, if your flight gets delayed, you have to get a new flight. All that is covered in your package when you purchase travel insurance. You don't even have to purchase a trip from Majestic Millionaires to get travel insurance. You can go online and buy a trip if you think you can find it cheaper, but you can always come back to Majestic Millionaires website and purchase the travel insurance. No one ever thinks that travel insurance is important until they actually need it. It's just like a car. If you don't have car insurance and you have a car accident, you can't go back in the past and add the travel insurance for a new accident that you've had today. So let's talk about the quarantining in these different countries. Most of them are requiring 10 to 14 days. And think about it. What if you have children? You want a policy so someone has to come and babysit your kids. What if you're losing 10 days to 14 days of pay? You know, and I'm not sharing this story to say, hey, you shouldn't travel. I am sharing this story to let you know, if you are going to continue to travel, that you have to take steps and measures to protect yourself, to protect your finances, and to protect your family. Because if you're not going to come home for 10 days, because that is a possibility, and I am keeping it 100%, that is a possibility. If you're not going to come home, who's going to watch the kids? Do you have to pay somebody to watch the kids? Is your job going to be stable enough or secure enough to say, hey, you can work from your quarantine location, or you're still going to get paid? You know, I want everyone to really think about that. We are in a time right now where the unknown is the unknown. And I don't know how else I can say that. The unknown is the unknown. I shared when we landed in Abu Dhabi that while we were in the air, that the rules had changed for that government. And you can have a situation like that. We had a policy change in the air and we didn't find out until we landed. That's not my fault. That's not the traveler's fault. The government, when they want to make changes to their rules, they do it. I have witnessed airplanes sitting on the runway on CNN where they say none of the people from Africa can enter the U.S. and those people are either in flight or sitting on the runway. Never did I think that that situation was going to happen to me or anyone in my company. But it happened, and it's happening not just to me and my company, to other people in their company. So I want you guys to be very, very mindful. If we are going to keep traveling, quarantine 10 days before you go on the trip. And I'm not saying be in the house in a corner. I'm saying don't let people in your house, out of your house. If you're going to your office, make sure you wear a mask. Make sure you get tested 1 week before you go and get tested 2 days before you go. And a lot of people are saying, how are you traveling to Wanda and you're not catching the coronavirus? You're not leaving and catching the coronavirus. Because I do all of those things that I tell other people to do. I'm not just telling you to do it. I'm doing it myself. If my husband is not going on a trip, excuse me, he sleeps upstairs and I sleep downstairs, or vice versa. If we're going on a trip together and he has to work, I make sure I say, hey, you gotta wear the mask, which he does. His job requires it. And even if we go to the store, we have to sanitize our hands. We have to use Lysol. We have to wipe everything down. And we have to be extra careful. When we come back, even though we tested right before we left Abu Dhabi, and me and my husband and all the other guests that was able to come home, we all tested negative. We still took another test. I canceled a trip to go to my Eastern Star convention that's taking place today. They all left yesterday. And it wasn't that I didn't want to go. I really wanted to go. But I am that responsible where I lost out on an airplane ticket and a free hotel because it was paid for from our, campaign and us working and doing the dinners and everything. But I was able to sacrifice that because I had been around the two people that had to be quarantined in Abu Dhabi. So even though I tested negative, there's no way I would be able to sleep at night going down to Florida with my convention in the Eastern Stars, knowing that even though my test came back negative, that I could still have coronavirus and spread it and be a super spreader person. So I canceled that trip. The ladies are down there. I hope they're going to represent us very well, which I'm sure they are. We are the ladies of the Phoenix, number 220, and they are down there having a fantastic time. But I'm home. But it's okay because I can sleep knowing that I did the right thing. But I can't sleep while my two customers are stuck in quarantine in Abu Dhabi. I reach out to them every day, at least twice a day. Well, at least one of them, because the other one doesn't have a phone right now. So when he does reach out to the other person that's there, he relays the message. I have purchased them new flights. I have called the embassy. We have done everything we can. Now we are just waiting for their release. So be mindful. If you're going to travel, number one, you must purchase travel insurance. And what gets me is the travel insurance runs about $45 up to about $110. It goes by your age, your city of residence, and how much you paid for the trip and what territory you're going to be traveling to. I mean, it's a small fee, but with all that being said and done, my travelers had travel insurance. They also had bed rest insurance attached to the policy. So they're going to be covered in full. But it doesn't really relieve me of worrying about them, making sure they get home safe, and making sure I tell each and every one of you what's going on. When I got the other calls from other people that said they were traveling that didn't book with me, they were like scared to share their story. And I wasn't scared to share my story. I just wanted to make sure I kept the privacy intact for my customers because that is very important to me. But this is real. Guys, please, if you're going to be traveling with me, you're going to be purchasing trips on the internet, or you're going to be using another supplier to purchase your trips, go to our website, majesticmillionaires.com. You'll see the insurance link and get a free quote. You'll see how easy it is and how affordable it is. You do not want to travel during these times or any times going forward without travel insurance. You don't know what's going to happen. Just like my person went on a cruise, she fell, she broke her shoulder, she had to be medevac. We were able to get the medevac back to California, get her back to a hospital. She was an older lady, so it was critical. Like somebody 25, 30 maybe can fall, break their shoulder, and you might can walk around the ship and go to the doctor on the ship and patch it up until you get home. But not if you're older, So in 2022, guys, let's do this thing a little different. Let's protect ourselves. Let's be responsible. Let's purchase travel insurance. And let's just make sure we're protecting others too. because that's really important. Don't get coronavirus and still go out to the grocery store and still go to trips and still go to places that you know there's a possibility that you can spread it to other people. I think that's being irresponsible, that's being negligent, and you're hurting, you're putting someone else in danger. So I'm going to close with that. I say thank you for watching this video. I would appreciate it if you share it, because it's that important to me that I'm asking you to please share the video and help someone else. If you're not traveling and your family, your friends, your cousins, your sister, whoever is traveling, they need to hear this message. I don't care who you are, who they booked with, why you didn't book with me. If you booked with me, we are going to be here and help you and educate you on what's going on with the coronavirus and traveling. You know, also now they're requiring that you wear a medical mask on some of the planes. You know, the little cute fancy ones, you can wear those on top of the medical mask. You can wear them at some of the resorts. But on the planes, they're going to be now requiring that you have a medical mask, an N95 or something of that nature. So, guys, please, if I can help you, if you have a family member stuck somewhere, I'll do everything I can do to call an embassy, find out how long the quarantine time is going to be, and what the procedures are for them to get home. I am Tawanda Dofat. I am the president and CEO of Majestic Millionaires Travel Agency, where we have everything good for you and where we leave no one behind without servicing them and making sure they are straight until they return back home. You guys have a beautiful day, and thank you for watching. Please share the video. If you're just getting on, go back and watch it. That's how important it is. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.